120 seconds. 110 seconds. 100 seconds. 90 seconds. 80 seconds. 70 seconds. 60 seconds. 50 seconds. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
'My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends, once again, it is indeed time to get our talk on. This morning, talk with me, your host, J.C. McCauley, along with the champions of talk this morning. In Studio 1A, talk champion Luis Cacique Delgado. Sir, good morning.
What's happening, Stan? Good morning to all our viewers and our listeners, man. Yes, Grand Rising family. Let's make it happen today.
Oh, yeah. How's you been since the last time we were here? I don't think we were here last week.
We took a break, man, because you're very busy now, Stan. And as the campaign ramps up, I think that there may be more of of what the expectation is, man. But yeah, everything has been great. We had a 3-day tournament over at the chess club. Friday we had a blitz. Saturday we had a classical. Game 75 with a delay of 10, and then Sunday we had a scholastic, and we had 10 youth participate, so we had an awesome weekend, man.
Wow.
And then the week continued to develop, man, in an awesome way. Yesterday we had a press conference down, in front of the City Hall.
Yep.
That was led by you and your team, the fabulous Dr. Naisha McCauley.
Dr. N.
Yes. So, that worked out really well. I think the message that was put out to the community was one of conscience and one that has to be addressed. I think a lot of people were pleased by that. So thank you for that, Stan. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you for your words and your contribution. it's a big issue. It's a big issue. It's a big issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think that being literate is really a handicap. Is a disability, if you will, because it prevents you from accessing so many things in life. So the message was heartfelt, and once again, thank you for that, brother.
The thing that I didn't touch on that I really wanted to, just it escaped me, was the sense that people have, in terms of stigma, and we have to overcome the stigma of not being able to read, because it's something that you can overcome, and that was the genesis of my challenge, in that I can't speak Spanish. I mean, I can count to 10, 20, 30, or 40, but other than that, and some just
some phrases,
some
words.
But to be able to have a conversation, to read, to understand, to dive into the culture and the nuance of the language, I am illiterate. So I can learn how to speak another language. It's that easy. So it's a challenge more than a stigma. And I want our English speaking people to understand that the inability to be literate is how they keep you in a chokehold.
Absolutely.
Particularly in the one place that you really, really, really need to be involved more now than ever before, and that's with your kids' education. People feel like they're second-class citizens if they can't go in and feel empowered. And you see more and more parents having a sense that they are powerless in school. And one of the things that gives them that sense, or keeps them locked into that, is to be functionally illiterate.
And staying right along with that, brother, is the fact that there's a strong sense of shame when you're illiterate, and it's not something that you go around proclaiming. You don't show up in a room full of people and there's a conversation going on, and all of a sudden you get up and say, well, listen, I'm illiterate. That's not how that works. So I agree that we have to erase and eradicate and erase that stigma, and make it, this thing has to be approached in what I will call a customer-friendly way, Stan, where people feel like they have easy access, and they really, understand that it's easy to learn.
Absolutely.
I think I said it before, but the United States is one of the few countries that's monolingual. I think that in Africa, in the continent of Africa, there's 56 countries, but in the continent of Africa, in each and every country, I think the average for each citizen is that they speak between, I think, 3 to 5 or 5 to 7 languages fluently.
Wow.
And I think that's a real power. I mean, for me, the fact that I'm bilingual has helped me get a lot of jobs. I remember Pastor James Lane said, I wrote a job description specifically for you because of your skill set, with the dual language. So it's helped me a lot, and I've always said to a lot of other people, practice your Spanish or practice whatever other language, because it's a source of power for you.
Absolutely. And you think more broad.
Yes.
Because there's terms that express things in other languages in different ways that there are no English words for.
And when we're on this topic, Stan, I would also submit that English is one of the very lowest vibrating languages. So when we use this language, we're vibrating at a low level. So that's why it's so important that we learn other languages, because you can feel yourself rising.
All right. Well, we're going to do our best. We're calling it the Dual Language Challenge, closing the literacy gap, part of our 6-point plan to realign Hartford's priorities. And it's a very, very important part. It's key. But we could talk about that later on, along with some other stuff. We have a special guest this morning.
Yes, man. I'm so happy, Stan. I met this woman when I went into a place called Lori's African Hair Braiding on New Britain Avenue, and they have some incredible talent in there in terms of braiding. So I asked her to come on and share some stuff with her. So I'd like to introduce to all our listeners and viewers Lori Decker. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show, sister. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here.
N- nice. And Lori, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My original name is Laurence, but I call it a short for Lori. So my name is Lori Dika, and I'm enjoying that name. I am a hairdresser. I went to hairdressing school. I have a license. And as you guys were saying, education is a key. So even I own my hair salon for years now, since 99. I went back to school and got my bachelor degree in social work. So I'm also a social worker.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I like to communicate with others, and I speak French. So I had that. I know I learned English too, but going to school open up more doors, and I'm more comfortable where I am. So I immigrated in this country since 99. No, since 95, I mean. But I opened the shop in 99.
Nice. That's
Yes.
beautiful, Lori. So, tell us a little bit about the African hair braiding. Now, where is that? Where's your country of origin?
My country is in West Africa, Ivory Coast. People translate, that's the translation of a Côte d'Ivoire. If Côte d'Ivoire is translated Ivory Coast, because that's where they found a lot of elephants and got the ivory from there.
Oh,
So,
yes.
yeah,
Yes, that's so sad, but yes, that happens.
yeah.
So, Lori, what is the kind of hair braiding that you all do at your shop?
Yes, after I finished my hairdressing school, I specialized in hair braiding because that's what I always known since I was a kid. Hair braiding is mostly like for us, it wasn't it wasn't to make money. It was just something that we do in our community to communicate with others, to just spend time with families. So I grew up doing it, and when I immigrated in this country, I saw that it was going to be something useful, and I put that in, and it works, and I've been doing it since, and it's a great experience because for us it's already a place to communicate and a place to share and to educate, to have a place in the community. So braiding is not only to make us beautiful, but it has a history.
That's an incredible, Lori. I'm telling you, you are such a magnificent. I have never in my life heard hair braiding, hair styling, hair anything be put in such an incredible community tribal way where people are learning, we're spending time with each other. It's all about community. That's so important. I'm so happy that you brought that. And I'm so happy that it's right around the corner from my house. Tell us a little bit more about some of the designs and things like that.
Okay. First, when I immigrated in this country as a French-speaking immigrant, it was tough. So the thread that I had was a braiding hair. So I started from home, and little that I know, I had the opportunity to open a place, And when I was opening it, because when I came in the country, yeah, braiding was give me the opportunity to take care of myself. So I really wanted to do the same for the newcomers and people who know how to do it, but don't really have the opportunity to have their own place. So in when you go into my hair salon, it's mostly a family. I have my sisters, I have my daughters, I have everybody there. It's a family. I have my nieces. It's a family. We all eat together, we laugh together, and we share everything with our customers. And we're so blessed to stay in the business even after a pandemic, because when the pandemic hit, it was hard, but we have a great community of our customers. They were always there to support, to come, and I'm also part of a big community of a church, and that's where my support come from, and my joy, and the community has been very good to me so far.
That's wonderful, Lori. That's so good to hear. My experience there has been wonderful. It's like you said, I do feel very welcome. I feel comfortable there when I go there. And when I go there, I see the faces of the other customers, and I can say the same thing for them. So I'm just happy that, because in this country and also in the countries of Africa, hair braiding was used during hard times to pass messages and
Yes.
even maps. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, really, we can't say that it was created in that time, because yeah, braiding was always there. Even the African woman used to make the hair, because that before there was no such a thing called a wig to practice on and stuff like that. So
Yes.
they used to make their own from the raffia and stuff like that to braid it. So it was always a thread that African used to communicate, and to also make a woman look beautiful. But it has a history, and the history comes from the fact that that was the time where women can come together and share the deep problems, the issues that they have in the community, and try to resolve and interact with each other.
It's also very therapeutic.
Yes, it is. It is.
It has a lot of medicinal value,
Yes, it
you
is.
know.
And
and-
that's what we want. We transferring in Lori's ear braiding, because when you enter there, as I always train my sisters and nieces, that when somebody come here, I want them to just be like, they didn't have to travel to go to Africa, but they're in Africa.
That's
So
beautiful.
we put we pray first. We put our prayers in on the TV. It goes from since 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and then after 1 o'clock we put African movies that we share with our customers, and we spend the time, because here braiding style can take from 1 hour to 8 hours. So we just wanted the place to be a welcoming place.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Um, Stan?
I'm just listening as always.
It's
when
baffling. It's baffling.
when we have guests,
Yeah.
because it's fascinating to hear the culture. And I was writing some notes down, because we have, quote unquote, the taste of Hartford.
Yes.
They changed it around. It's called Hartford Taste or something like that now. But when Mayor Carrie Saxon Perry was here, she started the
Yes.
Taste of Hartford. But Hartford's so much more than the food. Let's really taste the cultures that are here in Hartford. because it's an international city.
How many did you say yesterday? 71?
There's like 76 different languages and cultures within Hartford. But as Lori is talking about experiencing Africa when you go into her shop.
Yes.
There's the culture, there's the music, there's the customs, and you can learn so much about the richness of the diversity that is this city. You know, you listen to some people and you would think that no one else lived here. You know,
there's a lot of good stuff going on.
There's a whole lot of good stuff going on in the city. And so there has to be a way to celebrate that. And to me, the best way to celebrate the richness is for people to just go out and visit, experience, get to know your neighbors, talk to one another.
Absolutely.
And so I'm so glad she's joining us. I'm glad you're joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Now, Stan, what about you talk about the Taste of Hartford?
Mm-hmm.
Would there be a spot for a business like Lori to set up and, you know, display the kind of work that they do?
The way it's currently set up now, yes, because everyone that's set up at the Taste of Hartford is not
just
a
food.
Restaurant.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of
vendors.
things. But to me, you know, the Taste of Hartford can be the Taste of Hartford. What we need to have is a Hartford International Day.
Yes,
where we do a whole, like, you know, just beyond food, but, you know, just
the culture,
cultural exchange
that's happening here.
Day that where a whole cultural exchange week, never mind day, where you do a deep dive in learning about
each other,
who we are as people around the city.
Stan, before I forget, I want to make sure that you invite Lori to the Juneteenth celebration next year.
Absolutely.
So make sure you put that down on your notes. They have a great business. Lori, what's the address for your business?
875 New Britain Avenue, Hartford, Connecticut. And there is one thing that I didn't mention. I'm also the president of African Women in Connecticut. So we are over 50 women. So
wow,
that's wonderful, Lori. That's wonderful. Would you like to talk a little bit about the kind of work that y'all do? Or the kind of things that y'all talk about when y'all get together?
Yes, what we do, because we are so far from our culture, and we want to keep our culture.
That's beautiful.
Just let it go. So we always meet, and whoever is in the difficulties or whoever is new here, we give them support. And if you have a baby, we support you. And that was one of my motivation to pursue my education, because I wanted to be more resourceful and help in my African communities. And when we get together, we share those resources. Like whoever needs something that we know about, we can let them know. But I'm really trying to let us know, like expose our culture to Connecticut a little more. I know they know about Africa, but not much, because I seen a parade from a Spanish parade. They have a parade, Jamaican parade, and we don't have a parade in the community. We don't even have a place where people can say, okay, let me go to this place to meet Africans and something like that. So those are the projects that we're working on. So this is a great, that's why I feel like this is God has his hand on this. Like when you told me to come to this show, when you invited me, it was like it was something that God already had planned, because we really want to be exposed and show what we do, because some of us, or they can sew clothes like the one I'm wearing right now. Somebody sewed that for me. So it's a lot of things that we can present to Hartford.
I completely agree, Lori. I'm so happy that you came on. I told the story on the show. I said to my wife when I first started working with Stan, I said, baby, I got to the store and get a couple shirts for the show. I got a bunch of T-shirts with, some phrases on them. I don't know. So we walked into J.C. Penney in the mall, Lori, and I didn't walk 10 feet in. I looked around, I looked around like this, and I immediately realized that there was nothing that was in there made for us as black and brown people. So I reached out to a sister named Sister Nana in East Hartford who Stan knew about, and I was able to get some things from her. But I'm interested in wearing more indigenous and traditional clothing for us because, the only clothes that are available for us are the clothes that are really made for white people, not for us, not with the colors and with the styles that we like and things like that. So I'm happy that you're on because I'm sure that you can also let people know if they're interested in African jewelry or African clothing.
Yes,
Can you tell us a little bit about what, where we can get some things? Because I bought 5 dashikis online, 4X, and they all came in like they were like made for little boys. It was awful. I like to try my clothes on before I buy them, like a lot of people. So, can you tell us a little bit about that, Lori?
Yes. At Lori's, we have some clothes that we sell, but because of the weather, we sell in the summer. We bring them. I have a sister who, when she travels home, she brings African clothes. So you can stop there too. But there is an African store in East Hartford where they sell more stuff. And on Farmington Avenue, you can also find places like that.
In Farmington Avenue in Hartford?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've been to the one in East Hartford, and they have a lot of good stuff, and I've shopped there. So, yeah, I know about that one. And they also have one on Park Street. But
the one on Park Street, yes.
But she has some water damage.
Yeah.
And she was shut down. I don't know if she's back up and running again. But I went there and I bought a nice outfit. It made me feel like a king.
Yeah, she had a lot of good stuff there too.
Yeah. I didn't know you had stuff. That's good to know. So what's your address again, Lori?
875 New Britain Avenue, Hartford.
875 New Britain Avenue in Hartford. Y'all stop by Lori's Hair, African Hair Weaving.
Yeah.
And also, y'all should stop in and talk to Lori about her organization of the Organization of African Women, where they're trying to educate, our public, our community on the African culture, which I think is just a wonderful job that they're doing. I'm so happy to have you on, Lori. Thank you so much for coming on. I'll be stopping by soon now that I know that you have clothes. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
It was our pleasure.
Hartford is my village. I've been in Hartford since 96. I was on Albany Avenue. I moved to 7 years later. I moved to New Britain Avenue.
Outstanding. Well, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you in the near future, Lori. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, Sister. Peace. Yes.
All right. God bless you, and thanks for stopping by. We will be talking very, very soon.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Man, what a wonderful guest, huh, Stan?
Absolutely.
And now, and see, this is the other thing for me. We need to really reclaim our identity.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with our customs. Like, there's a history and tradition in indigenous and in African communities with the hair. Our hair is beautiful. We don't cut our hair. Our hair is a living organism. And, our hair is also something that we can use to make ourselves even more handsome or beautiful than we already are with these, adornments and these hairstyles that are so beautiful. I have a braid that I like to do for myself, Stan, and I call it the cacique braid. And that's where you get 2 braids here going straight back, and then when you get to the back, you tie it into one. And that's unity. And that's, that's for my tribe. That's my braid. That's the cacique. That's what I call the cacique braid. And there's so many beautiful things. I mean, I've read many instances, and she's right. The traditions with the adornments and the messages and the maps and stuff didn't start during slavery or during the hard times. That's a tradition that's been, going on for, thousands of years before any of this. So she's absolutely right about that. I just think it's just a place where, I go at least once a month, and I just want people to know that she's there. Lori's African Hair Weaving is at 875 New Britain Avenue. This is just a wonderful place for y'all to check out, man. So, yeah.
All right. We'll take a short break, y'all, and then we will be right back. It's Morning Talk. I'm your host, J. Stan McCauley, along with the champions of talk. Don't go anywhere.
How do you define evil? Is evil the pedophile school administrator or taxation without representation? Is it the gatekeeping community leaders who sell out the very people they were elected to fight for? Or is evil the politician that puts out lies and takes in cash? However you may classify evil, having to choose the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. Nowhere does this rule apply more than during an election for mayor. Choosing a candidate who is the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. No wonder so many people don't vote. It's time for the constituents to flip the script and vote for a mayor you can trust. My name is Jason McCauley. I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor for the city of Hartford. I, like you, am an independent thinker. So let's sit down and talk about my path to victory and why my 5-point plan for Hartford will work. Stop listening to the uninformed evil interests that tell you I can't win. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience. Vote for the name you trust and know. Vote McCauley for mayor.
Hi,
My name's J. Stan McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and
Well,
you're watching AccessTV.org.
Stan, what an incredible commercial, man.
You like
Every
that?
time you play that commercial, I get motivated.
It's called the lesser of two evils.
So, Stan, I want you to share with us the trickery and the tomfoolery that the mayor put on the union. How did those union people? What did they tell you, Stan?
All the union folk.
Yeah, let our viewers in on this.
Well, let me see. Now I have to become somewhat of a politician.
No, just tell it like it is.
All right. I'm not sure if their intent of it was for them to for me to publicly disseminate what they were talking about.
Then we don't have to do it.
Right. But I will say this: they expressed great disappointment, discontent in the current administration as it relates to how they.
So here's how these cushy guys work in Hartford, Stan. All right, let's move on. We're still on the same topic.
Yep.
This is how these cushy guys work on. So Luke Bronin is leaving because he knows he's not welcome anymore. He did an awful job in Hartford, right? He still hasn't fired Authority, who's leaving. They're leaving. They're going to run together. And then we have all this other stuff. The unions are mad at them because they're not working. They slid them out of the process.
That's true.
And I just want to show the audience, right? These are the people right here. See, I want you to zoom in on this. These are the people right here. These are the cushy guys that supported Bronin. They supported Bronin, right? And this is what happens. Look, this is Sean Wooden right here, right? And this brother's now like the treasurer or something, right? Because that's what happens. When crooks support crooks, they get paid. And then in the middle is Doug McCrory. who has told me himself that he doesn't know why he supported him. And then we got Eric Coleman, who still thinks he lives in Hartford, because he's senile. Nobody's told him he lives in Bloomfield. I'm sorry, Stan, but I got to do it because these people don't respect us. You understand? The stuff that they do is disrespectful. They disrespect the community. You know what I'm saying? And then they got the damn nerve to show up at your house and ask you to vote for them. You know what I'm saying? When they haven't done nothing. You know what I mean? And we got to stop that. You cannot support people based on race. You have to support people based on what they are talking about, what their issues that they want to fight for. We have to stop that nonsense of voting for the Democrats or the Republicans. If a Republican has a good plan that's going to help the community and it's not going to hurt the environment, then we should be voting for that person. If Democrats have a terrible plan, we should vote them out. It doesn't matter who it is. If a person has good plans that's going to help the community, we should support that person regardless of the party. We got to stop that party politics then. And these people that I just pointed out, let me point them out one more time. These people right here, right? These people right here make a living. They're cushy. They do good because they support the party. And so we have to start looking for people that support issues that affect our community. If they affect them or in a bad way, then we have to sit down and figure out a way to fix that with these elected officials. And if they impact the community in a positive way, then we need to look for ways that we can build upon that. And I'm getting to the point by saying that in Stan McCauley, who is not a company guy, these are all company people. Stan McCauley is not a company guy. And I want people to take a serious look at him as a candidate. I can't force anybody to vote for anyone, but we got to get away from party politics. They're terrible. And while I'm at it, one more thing. These brothers right here, and I'm going to use the word brother loosely because they haven't been behaving like brothers, right, are the ones that keep white supremacy and racism alive by supporting party politics. So in this upcoming election, folks, we have to do a much better job. We have to be much more judicious, okay, in how we vote.
Well, I think that's pretty straightforward and to the point. And I'm first and foremost a free speech absolutist.
I like that.
I'm a free speech. I believe people should say exactly what they think and what's on their mind. So,
and I'm not attacking anybody.
You're not. I don't.
I'm just stating facts.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And while I'm at it, somebody needs to tell John Fonfera, the same way that Eric lives in Bloomfield, that he lives in Weathersfield. These cats are old, and then they start thinking about stuff that happened like 40 years ago. Eric might have lived in Hartford 40 years ago, and John might have lived in Hartford, but not now. And see, here's the thing. If there's anybody that thinks that I'm playing around or just being, whatever, I want people to call in, write in the comments the last time, before they started running for mayor, because now they probably, they trying to make the rounds, right? Before that, when was the last time you all seen Eric Coleman in a North End bar, in a South End bar, mixing it up with people, with John Fonfera the same way? Come on, y'all, let's call it in. If that phone ain't ringing off the hook, it's because it didn't happen, Stan. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't happened. You know what I mean? So we have to look at that. You know what I mean? This. I want to mention someone, Stan, that had a, he had an affinity for doing stuff like this. Ed Vargas. Ed Vargas was an individual that you can find him in any restaurant, in any bar, in any tavern in the city, mixing it up with the locals. In any dive, with, in any place where there was folk in there, eating and drinking and mixing it up, you can find that Vargas in there. And I really, really, really admire that about him. Another guy that used to do that, but I never seen him do it in the North End. But this guy was notorious for just pulling up in your bar and spending big money. George Atherson.
Oh, big George. Now, George was in the North End.
Okay, so see now.
Big George?
Okay, so see.
Mayor Atherson?
Yes.
Oh, he was famous for rolling up on your picnics.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, and those are the guys, man. And you know what? He wasn't a terrible person. You know what I'm saying? He was not a terrible, and so those are the people. I've never seen these people. I'd never heard of them being out there with the regular folks in the community. You know what I'm saying? See, I spend a lot of time at my store now because when you have a business, you got to run it, right? But I'm the type of person, Stan. I'm from here. I can walk into any neighborhood in Hartford right now at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and be completely comfortable.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with me being a tough guy or, I'm a boss or whatever. No, it has to do with the respect that you have acquired over the years with your good energy, with your goodwill, with your good faith. And that's how I look at you. You're the type of guy that you're not a drinker, you're not a smoker, you're not a partier, but you can walk into any bar or into any neighborhood and people will say, hey, this is Stan McCauley. They're going to come over and say hello to you and ask you questions. I know that's true, Stan.
That is true. There's no place I can't go in Hartford.
That you're not welcome, Stan.
That I'm not welcome. Now, yes. I tell you, I don't go into bars or clubs for the obvious reason. But I tell you what happens when I do. Everyone hides stuff. I feel bad. I go in there and they're like, oh God. It's, all of a sudden it's like, hey, Stan.
Let me put my crack away.
Like, why are you here? Messing up our high. Come away.
You know why, Stan? Because you're an upstanding, example of what our citizens should be doing. You know what I'm saying? You hold yourself accountable, first of all. You hold those around you accountable. And you try to spread goodwill and good faith, man. And I think in most places, that's something that is welcome any time of the day, man. So I'm so happy about that. But once again, we have to be more judicious in our choices.
Absolutely.
We have to stop voting for party politics. And for me, a real victory at the end of the day for any politician, anyone, any person who's running, is to be able to run and win without the endorsement of the party. You know what I'm saying? To let them know, listen, the people of this city, we really don't roll like that. That's like a little club for you, but we not in it. The citizens are not part of your little Democratic town committee and all that nonsense. When it's time to vote on issues, we show up for that. So y'all keep doing what y'all want. You can give your nomination to anybody you want, because when it's time to roll, the citizens are going to show you who's in charge. That's the day that I dream of, Stan.
Well, you bring up a very good point because, I'd say my camp isn't split. It's probably about 75-25. 75 are saying, forget the town committee. Don't even try. And then I get 25 that are saying, well, let's see if we can't get the town committee endorsement. Because it'll say that the town committee has matured, come around full circle, sees a little bit something.
When did this happen?
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
It hasn't. It won't.
You can't make that argument.
It can't. Well, the argument can't be made until after the convention. If
business as usual, because it's the same people, the same people, and it's a shame. Because we have what they appear to be.
Well, those
intelligent black and brown men and women. They appear to be intelligent. There's a semblance of intelligence in their words and in their demeanor when you speak to them. But then when it comes to making decisions, they completely fall apart, man. I don't know what it is, because the first thing that we have to understand that no one is bigger than the tribe. And so in this particular instance, the tribe would be the city. So there's no individual, the police chief, the mayor, me, you, there's no one bigger than the tribe.
Right.
And so once you get down to that, that's when you begin to manifest your individual greatness on behalf of the tribe. And we don't have that. People are manifesting, or they're trying to manifest their individual greatness for their individual self. And that's never going to work.
So the self's interest is superseding the interest of the whole and
of the tribe. That's correct.
Tribe. Well, I put together a little something to answer the question that people had. A lot of people were asking, like, how's Stan, like, how's he paying for things? So I put this together just for those people who have the big question.
Oh yeah, we're back. I'm riding around the city on the official campaign vehicle, keeping it real, of course, bringing you the latest update, answering the biting question: where's Stan getting all his money? Last I heard, you can spend all the personal money you want on a campaign, so that's what we're doing. All right. If you think outside the box, if you really care about the people of Hartford, you find ways to be responsible and frugal with the money that you have. You see, we have really good people on our team. Our team members really, really love Hartford. They love what they do, and they're very good at it. So when you have the right team, you use the money that you have responsibly. Now, I've always made it a point to make the point that it doesn't take a lot of money to run an effective campaign. It takes innovation, it takes thinking, it takes creativity. And I think that's what you're seeing in the campaign that we have launched. And we're just getting started. Trust me when I tell you, we're just getting started right now. Okay? So you need lots of money if you're going to buy people. People are expensive. You have to buy them. You have to buy their integrity. And all of these things cost money. But with the original campaign vehicle, we were out and about, meeting and greeting people, talking to folks, letting them know about our 6-point plan, which you can check out at McCauleyformayor.com. All right? McCauleyformayor.com. Read about our path to impact. If you have questions, feel free to give me a call on my personal cell phone number, 860-944-9797. You can sit down, have a coffee. We can talk about why the incompetence that has been the hallmark of this city for the last several years, time has come, and how a new visionary leadership with the right people can bring Hartford to where it needs to be. All right? Requires your vote, though. And you gotta have some courage. Have the courage to vote your conscience. Vote J. Stan McCauley.
Every bad political decision is made by a politician elected to office. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, just remember this. There are people sitting with politicians in a back room making deals about your future, making policies about your children, making decisions about your neighborhood. To them, you are just a vote. You are not their cause. You are just a vote. Elections have consequences, and if you don't vote, you are actually voting to keep these people in power to work against you. Now more than ever, you need to make your vote count. It's time to clear the air and vote for a mayor that is unbought, unbossed, trusted, and accountable to you, the constituent. My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023 in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience and vote for the name you trust and know. Vote J. Stan McCauley for mayor.
Stan, that was incredible, man. Incredible message that you're putting out. But you know, the first one, they were both great. But the first one, you said some stuff, man. Buy integrity. Buy integrity. That's what you need money for the campaign.
Yeah.
But see, here's the difference between you and these other charlatans. Because you're not a charlatan, right? So they're charlatans. And what you do, see, they buy integrity. I want the audience to listen to this, the viewers, the listeners, pay attention. These politicians are raising money to buy people's integrity. You know, the heads of departments at the city level, whatever, right? Stan McCauley, the people's candidate for mayor, goes around the city sharing integrity for free. Do you all see the difference? Politicians are out there trying to buy our integrity, and Stan McCauley is going around sharing integrity, showing people what integrity looks like. So think about that, folks, when you make your decision. The huge difference between these charlatans that are company guys, they work for the Democratic or the Republican Party, versus somebody that you know, a person that's in your neighborhood, someone who's been in your community for as long as you can remember. Let's make the right choice, man. And let's try to get out of that matrix that they have us in, folks. How about that?
All right, well, while we're on a roll, we'll do one more.
Yes, one more.
We'll do this. No one else has this. Nobody. No one.
Only seen here.
Well, only seen here. I was wondering if there would be a breach of integrity if I got like the different clubs to play the official campaign song.
Hey, Hartford, Connecticut, I'm talking to you. We got to get out and vote. Vote for Stan McCauley. It's our time. We got to rise up and take it back. Vote for Stan McCauley. Vote for Stan. You gotta vote for Stan McCauley. Vote for Stan. Vote for Stan. Oh yeah.
It's more than politics than just what your social covers. And it ain't somewhere written down in bold letters. Don't just take my word for it, do your research. Think of your future, look at your bigger picture. Shooting tie, clean up, unity for the righteous. Plotting on action, hands on access. With a light source vision, door to door knocking. Guerrilla style marketing, brainstorm as a collective. Real neighborhood suggestions. Only we know what it is where we living. To make real life decisions. Move on facts, make it manifest back.
You gotta vote for Stan McCauley. Vote for Stan. Vote for Stan. Vote for Stan. Oh yeah. Look at your city. Stop. Take a look around. Is opportunity flow into your house? Are you working? Wait, can you save some money? And is your neighborhood safe? Or is it a homicide every night? He is ready to stand with you. can change it, yeah.
Hi, my name is Marlon E. Styler Sr. Many of you may know me as the two-time welterweight champion of the world. I'm here to tell you that Democrat J. Stan McCauley, as our next mayor, will fight for you until the last bell. Help me throw a knockout punch. Go out and vote for Stan the man.
My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I approve this message.
What's his name? He used to work
Oh
for me.
yeah, that's my man right there.
Yeah, the champ.
The champ.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Stan, that was incredible, man.
Where else can you have this much fun?
Yeah, that was nice, man. And you know, I'm happy that you used those young people for that, because once again, they showcase the talents and the skills that our young people are capable of. This, you know,
absolutely,
when they're given an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep working with our young kids, man. You know, And Stan, I don't know how you're gonna get. I mean, now there's so much social media that you don't really need, you know, a lot of leafletting and stuff like that. But when I was involved in politics, I used to put 6 kids in a van, and then I dropped 2 off on a corner. So I used to do 3 streets at a time, and they hit every door, you know, every house with a flyer, and then I pick them up at the end, and then we can do, you know, it take them about 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, depending on the per block, and then I just do that, and so we can cover a whole neighborhood. You do one neighborhood at a time, you know, and then you know, give them a few dollars, you buy some pizza, and they're ready for the next one. The next day, you know, they're ready. So, and it's a good way to get them involved in the political process.
Absolutely.
And they can see from the bottom, you know, what it takes to run an effective political campaign. So there's a lot of, it's not just, you know, there's a lot of stuff involved, and you can get a lot of segments of the community involved. A lot of politicians like to use the seniors for phone calls, and retirees and stuff like that. So a good political campaign uses all the facets that the community has in order to, you know, bring them all together and conduct an effective campaign.
Well, that's what we will do. We'll be.
And you know, I think, brother, and not for nothing, but now that you have all this jazz stuff going on, I think that would be another time for you to, you know, maybe have some young kids passing your literature out. And like I said, you know, give them $20, $30 a piece, let them work for a couple hours, and then they're going to take off and do what they do. They usually spend it on food, man.
Absolutely.
You know, so, yeah.
Yeah, the Monday Night Jazz is coming. Greater Harvard Festival of Jazz is this weekend. Starts Thursday.
Man. So you got
tomorrow.
You got an opportunity, you know, to get your name out there, man, and garner some support, and not just from the Hartford citizens, but you know, hopefully, people from the surrounding communities, or even at the national level, will see your message, man, and support it in some kind of way, either through sharing your information and your message and sending you money, you know what I'm saying, so you can continue to do the good work that you're doing, brother.
It's always good to give people, it's always good when people send you money, because it shows that they are indeed buying in. I think the most powerful statement is when people believe because they've done the research or they've heard, and they voluntarily separate from their dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
As opposed to the old, you know, browbeating them, hard, you know, almost like church. You know, deacon, I need you to lock the door because it's time for our offering. don't want the membership to leave. Make sure, now those of you that don't have envelopes, make sure you talk to the deacons on the way out. Anyone didn't get their offering envelopes for the year, you know, we'll work out a plan for you to get caught up.
Wow, they want their money.
It's June. It's June. Oh, speaking of which, I was at a meeting. I'm not gonna mention any names. I know you like mentioning names, but I won't mention any names. I was at a community meeting. This almost brings me back. I'm having flashbacks to doing Light Source Victory Television, where I would go in deep on folk. I'm trying to change my ways.
The kind of
they straight out told the folk that you are impacting our money. These were preachers.
Yeah.
If I told you who they were, you would be maybe or maybe
nothing,
not.
Listen, nothing that you say to me.
They
about
were
anybody
upset because of a community event that was going to be impacting their offerings, and they said, "This is when we make our money." I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Well, Stan, the thing for me is, look, I mean, religion and Christianity and Judaism and all these other the Abrahamic religions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been presented to people in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But for people like me, Christianity, the Muslims, the Jews,
Mm-hmm.
those religions, those are nothing but criminal organizations, man. They've killed millions of people over time in the name of each and every one of their religions. Never in your life will your pastor or priest tell you that. They're always gonna cast them in the right light.
Those are undeniable facts.
I know that, brother. And for me, I stated this before, and you push back because it's different now. But to me, any religion that uses a Bible is under the umbrella of the Catholic Church, which is the biggest of the criminal organizations. And we have plenty of proof to show of that in the media. It's all documented. I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm just stating facts. So for me, what we have to do is open our eyes and look at things for what they are and not for what people tell us they are. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to do that. So nothing that you tell me about any so-called Christian, murder, rape, treachery, stealing, all of that, nothing. Because they just regular people. They have a set of beliefs. They're capable of anything that anybody who's not a Christian is capable of. Don't fool yourself.
Well, I think you bring up you bring up a very an important point and a valuable point, and that's that they're people. And I think that's what people forget. People forget that everything involves any kind of organization involves people, and so it's up to other people to hold people accountable. And if you don't hold people accountable, they're going to go rogue.
Yeah.
They're going to go off course.
Well, I asked this question before, Stan. But if we understand that religion as it is morally wrong, as it is now, and we use that as the measuring stick for law, morals, and ethics in society, what are we talking about?
Well, take a look at the court right now, which everybody holds up in such high esteem. It's just another branch of government, and everything right now. All the wheels seem to be coming off the train.
Because all this is wrong. That's why we keep talking about the Great Awakening. We're awake. All the things that we're talking about right now have been going on all along. Nothing's new. We're just beginning to awake to it. You understand? And so these systems are falling apart. And our challenge, brother, is to build systems that are completely the opposite of what we have, which is, one group or individuals prosper and profit from these systems. We need to build systems where the community is the one that is thriving. We're all thriving. You know what I'm saying? And there were things in place already throughout history. There were systems that were taken over by these kind of evil systems, for lack of a better term, that were eradicated, that we have to look at and then come up with things. Like I always say, Stan, when you build anything, I don't care what it is, a car, a drink, a medicine, it should be good for the planet. And so we can't separate us as humans from nature. We are nature. So anything that we do has to be good for the planet. And the compensation for the individual should be how good is it and for how long will it be good for. And then we can talk about compensation in terms of needs and access, not in terms of, money and things, because we can't have one or two people. Like right now, these people like Bill Gates and these other fools, they have all this money. They don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So
they corrupt systems and people with it.
And that's what they do. They start using that money to try to create their own fantasy, of what the world should be. They're talking about that these people created that COVID-6 I mean, you know, the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, that they created that a long time ago, and they just unleashed it to control the population. That kind of talk is not, to me, is not healthy, because there's some truth to that. You know, people you have the ability now, the technology is in place for fools to commit that kind of atrocity. So we have to, we have to be careful, man.
It's we're at a very challenging place, and so
it's just a good chess game, brother. We just have to sit back and make the right moves. Don't rush. When the right time comes, like right now, I think is the right time for you to run for mayor. You ran twice before. You were disappointed. You said, I don't know. I don't want to run again. No.
Yeah.
Now is the right time.
I was absolutely not going to run because, of course, the incumbent was there. But once the incumbent made the announcement, it became very difficult. Then I have friends like Cacique and Marcus and several other people, and they was putting the real pressure on me.
Well, I think it's the right time.
They were putting the pressure on me.
I think it's the right time. And in life, everything is about timing, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Cacique was doing a chess move on me. He checkmated me. He checkmated me.
I put you in a tough position. Well, Stan,
Right. I mean, you guys were right. You were right.
I think you're the right man for the job. I still say that your challenge is going to be engaging the Spanish-speaking community. But if you can get past that hurdle, and I think you made some real commitments, learning to speak Spanish and trying to make it a dual language city before you even run. I think those are things that will definitely endear you to the Spanish-speaking community, because those are all huge signs of respect. And you've never heard any of these politicians, even the Spanish-speaking ones, because they're all colonized. You know what I mean? You could only talk about what you know. If something else exists, but you don't know about it, then you can't talk about it. You can't even suspect that something else exists. So we have to, we have to be
ignorance
careful.
is not bliss.
Right. And in like they say on social media, in this day and age, with all the information that's out there, it's hard for you to be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So, we just have to make the effort to continue to educate ourselves. And, the things that I'm talking about with these super billionaires and these other people, I just want to remind folks that when I'm talking about company guys, when I'm talking about the parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, these people are all tied in together. They all work for themselves. They're not working for us. So we need to elect and put people in place that don't belong, that have no attachments to them, like you and others. I would love to see Kamora Harrington run for state rep or something, because she brings a different flavor to the to the
She would
table.
be now I think she would be great as a representative of the people. I think that she thinks that she does a better job as on the accountability activist side than on the running the political apparatus side.
I think the only difference for Kamora and people like her, Stan, would be that she would just bring her activism right to the legislator, man.
All right.
Right there to them. You know what I mean?
I think there's plenty of room for that.
Oh, no, absolutely. And she can be a teacher up there, and she can open a lot of doors for the next generation right after her. So I'm just saying, that's how I look at people like her and you. You can, not only can you get there, but when you're there, you have the ability to continue to open doors for others, brother. And that's why I think so highly of you as running for mayor, because you're not a man that's ashamed or afraid to help people, especially when you know that they might do a better job than you, because you only care about the end product. You don't care about who gets the credit, as long as it's a good product.
Yeah.
You don't have that type of
at
jealousy
some point people
pettiness in you.
That's yeah. Now at some point people have to I've been known to be shady. I'm not petty though, but I will throw some shade from time to time.
I think throwing shade is good because it keeps people on their toes, and they can take it seriously, or they can laugh at it, but they're gonna process it. And once they process it, then they can make a better. A lot of times, the gut instinct is a good thing for certain things, but sometimes it's not very good for others. So we have to be able to discern the difference on when that gut instinct is kicking in and is for something valid, and when you're just being, like you said, petty or throwing shade or whatever, feeling some type of way, like people say. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it comes a point in time when people mature, hopefully enough, that getting credit for something that really is something that needs to be done is kind of very immature. Yeah. At the end of the day, does it get done? And to your point earlier, is it benefiting everyone? Things should be, at the minimum, mutually beneficial. That's the minimum. Mutually beneficial, but beyond that, beneficial to the whole. Is what you're doing adding value to everything and everyone? And when you operate in that frequency or on that plane or in that paradigm, then everybody prospers. You prosper, the people around you prosper, the community prospers, and communities start to grow. And I think we're coming, hopefully, out of a time when everything is about self. Me. Very destructive. Very, very destructive.
I agree.
Very destructive. It turns people like this mutual, I'm going to use them before they use me attitude. Everybody's like, and that's unsustainable.
Well, brother, that's that rugged American individualism. That's not indigenous and that's not Afrocentric. That's just outright, wrong.
Predatory.
It's outright selfishness.
That's
predatory.
What that is. Predatory.
Predatory and selfish because you're thinking of yourself. I keep telling people that story about the African village. You know how this white man went to an African village and he had a small fortune. He had a contest. A young man won, but the young man was more happy about the idea that he was going to able to share this small fortune with everyone. He was completely enamored about it. And the white man was upset. He says, hey, what the heck are you doing? You don't have to share with anybody. That's for you. And the young man looked at him and he said, we don't know what that is. We don't have that capacity to understand what it is to have everything for you. And then that's not our way. And now this thing with the LGBTQ is happening in Africa because they're trying to force Africans in their countries who ban that type of thing. They're trying to force them to accept that. And it's funny because, you can't go to somebody's country and tell them what they have to accept. But, America is known for that.
You mentioned that. I was watching one of the African heads of state being grilled by
some white reporter, right?
Yeah, European reporter, and she says, well, Obama had some very challenging words, and he said he was very disappointed, and so he finally spoke up. He says, we here in Africa have been very disappointed with him for a long time. We don't say anything. We've been disappointed with the United States for a long time, but we don't say anything because it's your country. Maybe that's how y'all want to live.
Yeah.
He went in deep.
Yeah.
And shut her right down.
Yeah.
Now, it's very interesting. People come to your country, tell you your customs are wrong, your ways are wrong. Whatever it is that you're doing that's been working for millennium is wrong, and you need to adjust. And it's just the arrogance of other groups that just come.
Europeans, you can say it.
And just impose their will on folks.
Well, Stan, we just have to, really look at stuff. I mean, I love it when, when Christians and Westerners call African religions witchcraft and double worshiping, but then you turn around and you have Christians worshiping a person they've never seen, they have no idea about, and they pray to him and they have rituals and all kinds of stuff, but that's not witchcraft. That's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? So when you come out of that matrix and you start seeing things for what they are instead of what you've been told your whole life, how you're supposed to process and look at this, and you're saying, oh, wait a minute, that don't look like nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Then you begin to open your eyes, and then you begin to understand a little bit of what I say. You know what I'm saying? So once again, be careful with the party politics. I mean, and here's the other thing that I would say, and I said this before. All the 5 major cities in Hartford, they're all 90% people of color. And they all have a white mayor. And nobody sees nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's extremely racist for someone like Luke Bronin to come into our city. He's never lived here. He's never done nothing here. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to be mayor. I said that from the beginning. I said that to Luke to his face. And I've said that to other politicians. You know, when I asked Doug McCrory, how did you end up supporting him? He says, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we know because you belong to the party. All these other people that are out there. We have to get away from that. We have to start establishing our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about a takeover. I'm not talking about anarchy. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about establishing norms in our communities where the politicians and the bureaucrats and these other outside interests are not making it horrible for our citizens to live in. Why do we even pay parking? As a citizen of Hartford, why do I have to pay parking anywhere in the city? Why? I'm already paying taxes.
Right.
So we have to look at that. Some of those things they might have worked back in the day, but now no, I don't want it. When that meter maid pulls up to my car and they check my license plate and they see that that's a Hartford address, you're done. Walk away from my car.
You know, not only are you paying taxes, but you pay taxes and you get diminished service.
That's what I'm talking about.
So the service that you're getting is diminishing. It would seem to me that as a Hartford resident, the bare minimum would be no tax.
Yeah.
I mean, no parking.
Yeah, little things like that make a big difference because they make us feel like we're part of this community. That's all that corporate stuff, and that's what I'm talking about. We need to take the corporate things out of our community. I was working in New Britain for the schools out there, Stan, and in the beginning of the year, when it was back to school, we went to the businesses to put up some flyers indicating that it was back to school, blah, blah, blah. I went to a couple businesses. I went to one of these car rental shops, and they said corporate doesn't allow any advertising on their stores. And I said to them, you know, okay, but I said to myself, then you shouldn't be allowed to do business in this city because that's an advertisement that's not selling anything, it's not hawking anything, is reminding everybody in the city that it's time to go back to school. Our kids are going to be out in the street more, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody, no business, bank, I don't care what it is, has a right to say you can't put this type of stuff here because that's not community. That's personal interests. That's big business. And that has no room, no space in our community because it's unwelcoming and it's unfriendly. And if we're going to keep talking about how Hartford has 76 different languages that are spoken and how culturally diverse the city is, then the first thing that it needs to be before any of that is welcoming.
All right, let's throw one. We'll throw on this spot that you like so much, and we'll play that before we head out.
Sounds good, Stan.
It's called The Lesser of Two Evils. The Lesser of Two Evils.
And this is played for all the members of any political party, Democrat, Republican, or otherwise. Hit it, Stan.
How do you define evil? Is evil the pedophile school administrator or taxation without representation? Is it the gatekeeping community leaders who sell out the very people they were elected to fight for? Or is evil the politician that puts out lies and takes in cash? However you may classify evil, having to choose the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. Nowhere does this rule apply more than during an election for mayor. Choosing a candidate who is the lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. No wonder so many people don't vote. It's time for the constituents to flip the script and vote for a mayor you can trust. My name is J.C. McCauley. I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor for the city of Hartford. I, like you, am an independent thinker. So let's sit down and talk about my path to victory and why my 5-point plan for Hartford will work. Stop listening to the uninformed evil interests that tell you I can't win. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience. Vote for the name you trust and know. Vote McCauley for mayor.
Beautiful, brother. I love that commercial because it's about accountability.
Accountability.
And mostly for yourself, the individual. It's about holding yourself, making good decision for yourself, your family, and your community. That's what that commercial. That's why I like it so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, the lesser of two evils.
Well, Stan,
there is no. The lesser of two evils still leaves you with evil. So
yes.
you can't pick the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, you shouldn't pick any evil.
Don't pick. So do the right thing, and as we like to say, vote for Stan.
Vote for Stan. So Stan, I just want to say that I want to give a shout out, man, to Mario over at the Y in Glen Malden, and then Mario Flores, who ended a league, and now Mario Davis started another one. They're doing a great job. I would love for you to come down here and take a few shots of the guys and then put them on public access. They deserve it. These are our young men are displaying their talents down there in a very, very safe environment. Once again, shout out to Glenn Malden and the two Marios down at the Y for doing an outstanding job. Thank you, guys.
Now the chess tournaments are on Fridays.
No, I'll announce them as they come. And by the way, this Friday I'm having National Master Derek Meredith. He's gonna do a lecture, and then he's gonna do a simultaneous exhibition. And starting next Saturday at 4:00, we're gonna have National Master Gelfrey Torres do a class, and that's gonna be $10 per person from 4 to 5 p.m. So yeah, Taino Chess Club, 1020 Farmington Avenue in Berlin. We're doing a lot of great chess stuff, and great chess is being played there every day. Thank you to all who support me.
All right, my friends, our time together has come to an end, as it does every time we're on the air. However, we will be back, do it all again on Friday, and Miss Cleo will be here. Then, of course, next Monday, Jonathan will be back, and then Wednesday, we'll be back once again to do it all over. So, y'all stay encouraged. Go out there and do what you have to do. Take care of your business. Handle your business. And remember that, the town committee are elected officials. They represent you. So get on the phone. Tell them to cast their vote for Stan. We'll see y'all next time. Bye. Special thanks to our guests and also music by Jay Hogarth.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are here to discuss a very important topic. I'm going to bring up a few speakers to address the issue of citywide adult literacy, a plan that you'll hear from mayoral candidate J. Stan McCauley talk more about this morning. But before Stan comes to the mic, we have some community voices that we are also going to hear from this morning. So I want to bring up Gwyneth Douglas to say a few words on the topic of adult literacy.
Good morning, everyone. My name, this is such a glorious and historical day, and I am so honored to be a part of it. And I have a few words that I would like to say before our elect mayor, pre-elect mayor, J. Stan McCauley comes forth. And it's on the literacy program. What I'd like to talk about is I agree totally on the decline and the hardships, the troubles that our city, our nation capital, faces on a daily basis, especially to people who are come to this country, who are from other places, and do not understand the dialect, the language. There are language barriers. I am an educator. I'm an educator in the school system, retired, and I'm also an educator and also group homes and ministries. So we come together to partner with him. But what I wanted to say really quickly is that whatever we can do to stop this type, I call it a parasite, an educational reading literacy parasite. Why? Because as I did my research, I found out we have all these wonderful programs, so we say, that are building up. But if we don't build up this economy the way that we're supposed to, it's good to look nice on paper. But we all must join hands and pull it in just a little harder, just a little closer. For instance, starting from ages 4 to 12 years old, there are 5 or several different programs that they attest that work for Connecticut. You have the Reading in 100. You have the one that's called the EGGS reading program. You have so many different programs. They even have the ESL, which is English as a secondary language for children who coming from a country into ours. Why aren't these programs effective? Where is the breakdown? Now, we all know that it starts from in the home and out. But I heard when I was just a little girl at Arsenal School that it takes a village. I am a native of Connecticut, a native of Hartford, Connecticut. I attended the Arsenal School. And if it was being said back then that it takes a village, then we must. I stand with J. Stan McCauley. I almost called him doctor. I stand with his wife because I don't split staff. I stand with his children. I stand here on the steps of City Hall to let everyone know and let the voice be heard. I am standing with McCauley. Why? Because one hand reaches one, catches one, love one. What we need now is just not love, sweet love, but we need real love. Real love for education and reading the right way. So let us put our foot, a pedal to the metal, and let's get this done. God bless you. I thank you, and have a great day.
Adult literacy is a root cause issue facing many adults in the city of Hartford. Adults that I would say have been failed twice. They've been failed first by the educational system and a lack of resources, but then they find themselves failed again in a city that doesn't support them adequately to give them what they need in order to attain jobs, to participate in our democracy. So this is may not be a splashy campaign issue. Some may not find it to be the top issue, but it is a root cause issue. And oftentimes, it's referred to as a silent crisis because we don't want to speak to it. We don't want to address it in a way that political winds may change and come forward. But here's an issue that would impact so many lives in the city. It is an issue that Stan has heard, being so close and tethered to the voices of the community. It is an issue he has heard time and time again. So, without further ado, I want to bring Stan forward to address his citywide adult literacy plan.
All right, we're here today to talk about this growing crisis that has been here for some time. It's like under the current, if you will. And you hear people talk about economic development. You hear people talking about jobs in the community. But the fact of the matter is, depending upon the statistics, 41 to 61% of the citizens in Hartford, adults, men and women, are functionally illiterate. And you may ask yourself, well, what does functionally illiterate mean? Well, think of it in terms of an ATM machine. That means that 61% of the adults in this city can't read an ATM machine. And I want you to understand the impact of that. It impacts parents when it comes to attending their children's schools and getting parent involvement. If the parents feel intimidated, which the schools too often intimidate parents that want to be actively engaged in their children's education, and they wonder why they can't get parents to come in and participate. But it goes even deeper than that. One of the things that really plagues the city of Hartford is the political apathy. Now think about this. If you can't read an ATM machine, you also can't read about your candidates. You can't read about their platforms. You can't read about their programs. You can't do the research. So you wind up hearing what people say, and it becomes a he said, she said, instead of being engaged and informed. So my administration wants to put forth effort to help bridge this gap, close what we're calling the literacy gap. We're making it our 6th priority in our path to impact. And when I talk about path to impact, I'm talking about how does the action impact the intended individual. You're talking about education, you're talking about giving teachers a raise. Well, how does that raise impact the student? We know there's a direct impact for the teacher and for the teacher's family, but what's the impact on the student? All too often our students are left behind. And when they're left behind, they wind up being, hopefully at the third grade reading level. That's where they plan the future for prisons to be built. Well, we see the impact of a failed education system in the adults who attended that education system not being able to read. So this becomes very, very critical. So we're challenging the adults in this city that are English speakers to become functionally literate. Now, I'm one of those people that believe in leading by example. Now, I am functionally literate when it comes to English. I can read, I can write. But you know what I'm totally illiterate in? The dominant language of the city, Spanish. Now, we live in a city where the dominant language is Spanish, and the people that are running for office aren't fluent in that language. So I'm putting forth the challenge that I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to become conversationally literate in Spanish. I'm going to, in the next 4 years, learn how to speak the dominant language. So if I can learn a language I don't know, I know that our English-speaking people can become functionally literate in the language that is their primary language. All right? Hartford should be a dual language city. So we're calling this the Dual Language City Challenge. There are 76 different ethnic groups in this city. This is an international city, and it should be reflected by the languages that you have here and the cultural diversity that you have here. And so when we talk about economic development, understand that economic development can't happen until you have human development, and human development can't happen until you can read and write the primary language. And we can't have cultural diversity and understanding if we don't understand one another and respect the cultural differences that we have here in Hartford. So part of what we want to do in the McCauley administration is open up our schools, unlock those resources so that they are open after school. They should be open from sun up to sundown, from 8 to 8. Our schools should be open. They should become the primary community centers. Parks and recreation should be in every single school. And when school ends for the students, it should begin for the adults. And so we're going to be putting learning centers where adults can become functionally literate in this city. So that's the challenge. We want to challenge you to go to our website, McCauleyforMayor.com. Click on the path to impact and find out all there is to know about our complete 6-point plan to realign Hartford's priorities, and more importantly, our 6th priority, which we're introducing today, to close the literacy gap in the city of Hartford.
We won't keep you long, but we do want to bring one other voice to you this morning. An honored elder, I would say, a community voice that has been challenging the systems, fighting for the people, and recognizing the gaps in the underserved. Cacique.
All right, family, peace, peace. It's really good to be here today. I think it's, for me, it's a special day because what I would ask the people that are listening to us today is, when was the last time one of these politicians ever came to you with an issue with conscience? You can't recall that because they don't. So I'm happy that Stan has taken on this humongous task to bring, people right where they need to be, because as I understand it, the system a lot of times keeps us in that survival mode. And when you're in the surviving mode, you can't move to the next level, which is the thriving mode. When you're surviving, you can't thrive. So I think that Stan and Gwen said a lot of important things today. And one of the things that I would say is that if you can't read your children's report card. You can't help them with their homework. You can't read information about your health. So the reason that I asked that question in the beginning is because this is an issue that is plaguing our community, and you haven't heard anyone, including the superintendent, talk about literacy and what they're doing to bring it up, not just for our kids to bring them where they're supposed to be at, but for the adults in this city. So Stan, once again, brother, you hit the nail on the head. That is a super important issue that's going to change the way that we live. You know, the way that people live is going to raise their, their access to different jobs, better jobs. You can get your license now. If you can't read, you can get your license. So it's a lot of things that literacy covers, and I want to thank you for that. And I hope that, I just want to say one more thing. Stan's van is coming to Wyndham Street on Thursday at 6:30. It's for that neighborhood, but anybody in the city of Hartford is welcome to come. It's going to be on Wyndham Street, July 11th at 6:30, and all are welcome. Thank you so much. Peace.
Every bad political decision is made by a politician elected to office. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, just remember this. There are people sitting with politicians in a back room making deals about your future, making policies about your children, making decisions about your neighborhood. To them, you are just a vote. You are not their cause. You are just a vote. Elections have consequences, and if you don't vote, you are actually voting to keep these people in power to work against you. Now more than ever, you need to make your vote count. It's time to clear the air and vote for a mayor that is unbought, unbossed, trusted, and accountable to you, the constituent. My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience and vote for the name you trust and know. Vote J. Stan McCauley for mayor.
All right, so Wyndham Street, July the 13th. The mobile campaign office will be at Wyndham Street. 12 Wyndham Street. And also, if you're not doing anything, you want to join us for our virtual town hall. That'll be this Friday at 6 o'clock. There it is. This Friday at 6 o'clock. It's a virtual town hall. And check out our website for more information. Thank you very much for joining us.